Hey guys, Ian and Glenn here from Evic. We've been lucky enough today to get Chris, our resident training technician, on the tools to give us a quick demonstration of some quick tips when it comes to polishing and compounding.
Okay guys and girls, so what Chris is going to do here is just going to get his palm sander all sorted. He's putting a 3000 fine grit paper on it, and he's going to run it across this painted job. There's a few little imperfections. This side of this kind of grade paper will just knock the tops off that, and it'll just take some of the peel out of the finish. He's always very careful around the edges because that's where things can go wrong, and he puts a bit of weight behind it. It just won't do it itself, so you've got to put a little bit of pressure on that palm sander just to knock the top off it. And you can see how he sort of works around the edge, around the top edges of the panel first. And it's always good to keep in one motion, whether it's cross hatching it or like from one end to the other. So this is basically a quick demo of what has to be done and the right things to do to get that really nice finish, especially if your panel has been hit with a bit of some dirt nibs in it. And the other good tip too is when you're doing a panel like this is to always keep it secure on your actual workbench, especially when you get into that compounding stage. You can see where he's just placed basically putting a fair bit of weight onto it now and just gliding it across. You can see some of the residue on the panel now, so that 3000 is doing its job. The other good thing too is really have some good lighting, just so you can see what you're doing. So now he's got one of like a cheesecloth, and he's just going to take all the residue off that panel. The last thing you want to do is to have any sort of sanding residue on that just before you compound, because all you're going to do is start marking your panel again. So he's using Radex one step, and it's a beautiful compound, this, because it'll just basically get rid of all your scratches from your 3000. And there's no real time period when to stop. Like, it's really up to the operator. He's going to be looking for certain things bouncing off the light, and then once he's chopped that out, then he can go to a different compound. So he'll just work his buff pad now, being very cautious of the edges. And that's what I'm saying with when you're doing a panel like this, it's good. You can see where he's used the clamps just to keep that panel from wanting to skate around on him. So when you're compounding like this, he's using the Festool machine right now, and it's always wise to listen to it as well. Like, you'll hear it start to labour, and that's when you're putting a little bit of weight behind it. And it's personal choice. You can use a little bit of water spray on it as well, just to keep it gliding and not let the panel get too hot. So you can already see that the panel's really picked up its gloss level already, and that's just from the first stage with the one-step compound. Okay, so now he'll probably wipe down that panel again and get it ready for the next stage. You don't want both compounds to crossbreed, so you don't want to use one step and then have anti-halogram in amongst it. You basically want to have a clean slate and move to anti-halogram. So there's a few things he'll do. He'll change the buff pad now. He's gone old school, which is the sheepskin one, and now he's going to use the Radex. It's a lot softer compound pad, just to really make the gloss really pop. And anti-halogram, what that does, it just removes those tiny little scratches that One Step didn't, and just makes that gloss really really come on really nicely. It's super shiny. Same thing, he's going to use the same technique as he did from One Step. It's basically from one end to the other, and he'll cross hatch it, go from side to side, and you can see where he's placed his machine. It's on top of the body of the panel, not the other way around where the machine is hanging off the edge, and that's where you'll get a panel grab, and you could burn through your paint or absolutely destroy your buff pad.
How regular should you be changing your buff pads and buying a new one? Can you reuse them over and over?
Yeah, you can use them with the Radex one. You can use them quite often. The good trick is once you've used it, is to put it in a little bit of water for a while, like for even 20 minutes, and just let it soak and just get those compounds out. Because if you haven't used it for a couple of weeks, that compound it can get a little bit hard, so you may scratch your panel, so you're kind of chasing yourself. So it's probably best to get a bit of water on it, and you can wring it out like a sponge and put it in a Loctite bag, and it's ready for the next heat. The good thing about anti-halogram, like when you use it, it's almost self-lubricated, so it slides across the panel really well. You don't really have to work it that hard. Now he's got a nice polishing cloth now, and he's just going to do it by hand. Just a little bit of residue that's left on the panel. Now you can see the reflection of Chris now, how it's really popped that gloss. That's awesome. Now it's the same thing with anti-halogram. You can take your time and do it again if you want to get even a better finish to it, but yeah, that's nice. That's actually got some metallic in it, that panel. Good job.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, guys, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to come down to the Evic Training Centre if you'd like to go over some of the finer points with Ian or Chris. As always, hit us up on the website or jump onto our Facebook and YouTube channels. Thanks a lot.